I could top.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Turn Order Warped Season 2, Episode 14. Perfect timing, PG, as always. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We will be using mature language, although since Fuzzy is not joining us today, that might be cut in half. And I know some people are disappointed about that, so we will try extra hard to use as much foul-mouthed chicanery as possible.
You want me to take the filter off? I can take the filter
No, nobody wants that.
Nobody got time for that.
It's like the most PG version of her character. Like, oh, don't you want to, go back? Yeah.
I don't know what just happened, simply, but that was excellent, and I hope somebody's clipped that already. I want that to be my sub-alert. Wow. Oh, that was good.
That's me being Fuzzy's character.
Welcome to the show, everybody. How's everybody doing? How were your weeks? How were your weeks? Did you guys have good weeks?
I had a really, really shitty beginning of a week and then a great ending of the week. So, but yeah. What about y'all?
Pretty solid week, I think. Can't fucking remember anything. Played video games.
I don't know what that's like.
Had 7 days.
I've been rewatching Stranger Things as well with Mrs. Z.
The first one?
We're into season 2 now. So we're finished.
Still haven't started season 2 yet.
Yeah, Mrs. Z hasn't seen it at all, so it was our first time seeing season 1, and we're like halfway through season 2.
Full on binge watching?
2 or 3 episodes a night. I know we're feeling. But yeah, even watching the second time, I still stand by it being, one of the best shows in recent years for sure.
It's good. Have y'all seen The Handmaid's Tale? I binge watched that this week.
Oh, is that on Netflix?
It's on Hulu. And I bought it on Amazon Prime, but it is phenomenal. It's
cool.
really, really
It's a
good.
movie?
It's a TV series.
Okay.
I forgot who originally put it out. It's about kind of this semi-dystopian separate wives society that America is after women end up going fertile or infertile. And they end up harvesting women who are fertile and using them as what are called handmaids to essentially be used to have babies of prominent and wealthy figures in society. And one of them is Elizabeth Moss, the girl who played Peggy in Mad Men.
Okay.
And it's centered around her story. There's like flashbacks to her history previous to the big changeover and like how she's trying to get out of it and stuff. It's really good.
I feel like every time I see her, I always classify her. I always like typecast her in my head as that Peggy role.
Yeah.
And I try so hard to like knock her out of that role. It's unfortunate when that happens with like a lot of like really big shows.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah. Like you can't watch him and not think, oh, Harry.
Oh, Harry.
Yeah, definitely. There was actually, I think there was a reverse version of that in Sliders. Did you guys ever watch Sliders?
Oh my God, Sliders, the TV, the sci-fi where they go to the different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was badass.
Yeah.
That was right up there with Quantum Leap for me.
Oh yeah, I love that shit. I watched the hell out of that show. But they had that version. It was like the guys were basically there was only a select few bunch of men or whatever that were actually fertile, and they're like, all right, we're studs, we're the best. Oh my, okay. Ooh. We have to keep doing. Okay, can we have a break? Like, oh God, please. Slow down.
Me and Mrs. Z were talking about something like that. She's like, why? She said to me, like, why has there not been like a dystopian kind of fiction where men are basically kind of locked up and like milked? You know what I mean? Like it just used like
unfortunately,
as, like,
yes, we do
for
know
their
what you mean.
produce, right? And just these animals for their produce, and they're just fed. And it's like, because for men that's not dystopian. You get to eat, you get to lie around all day.
Yeah, for like the first,
you get to have some fun.
I don't know, maybe like the first week, and it's like, this is the best thing ever, and then it's like, okay, I'm really tired. Can I?
Yeah, after the 8th month, you'd be like,
my nuts hurt all the time. Give them a fucking break.
My nuts hurt all the time.
I remember I said something like that once Sometimes I don't think. And I was like, man, do you know what? Like,
No.
do you ever get that way where you've just been and your nuts just hurt? And like I was just talking to my friends, but we're like completely in public, and this woman walking past me, she went like nearly choked and whatever she's fucking drinking. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was just asking a genuine question.
Oh God.
But I also used to do that deliberately, so I would walk down the street and say something just loud enough for a passerby to hear it. So I'd be like, and that's how I had sex with the grandfather clock. Can you imagine like hearing someone say that in the street? You're gonna be thinking about it all day.
And then you're gonna look up grandfather clocks on Pornhub.
And that's how you find my videos linked to my Patreon.
Wow. Yeah, so I think we'll be fine covering Fuzzy's quotient of inappropriateness today. We'll be fine. We'll cover it. But yeah, Fuzzy's gonna be out sick today. I'm
just doing jokes in my head. Sorry. Like me and the grandfather clock have one thing in common: we're both pendulous.
Somebody start the simply counter.
Thing. That's a joke that was just said. Money.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't. Wow. Why don't we just start with the introductions? Let's just go around and start the introductions. Let's get this shit show underway. We might as well hop on and get things going here. Let's start off. Wow. We're gonna start off with. Let's start off with Simply today. Why don't you introduce yourself and your character for the people watching?
There's only 3 of us. How did you take that long to make a decision?
Well, because it's all out of order. I normally just go top to bottom in my scene list, and it's all out of whack now.
Out of whack. Get it? Well,
Ah!
I can make jokes too, guys.
Family-friendly jokes brought to you by Simply Jackson.
Keeping us in line. My name's Simply Jackson. I'm a variety broadcaster on Twitch. I do creative and gaming and a bunch of other random stuff, including loads and loads of sarcasm. I am playing 7H1CC, our resident service android, who slowly but surely is realizing how much she would rather run than fight for these people. And that's about it. I'm still fairly new to the roleplay scene, so I am the person in this group that will be like, and what does that mean? You know, when everything happens. So, but yeah, I don't know what happened last time. Apparently, I get to level up this time, so I'm super confused already.
It's fine. It's fine. Speaking of fine, well, it's a weird transition because it doesn't make sense. But Zagatagas!
Zagatagas!
Hey everybody, I'm Zagatagas, and I have very fine taste in water. I'm a water sommelier. I always fuck up that word. Sommelier. Yeah. So what I can tell you is that Chuck Norris water is actually shit. It's not
Chuck
very
Norris
tasty.
is shit.
Yeah, Chuck Norris has his own water that he bring on his ranch or some shit, but it's not good. Scottish tap water though is fantastic. Anyway, but by the way, water sommelier is actually a thing. There's places you can go, like restaurants you can go, where they'll bring out like $400 bottles of water for you and stuff.
No, come on.
It's legit. It's legitimately a thing. I'm not
Himalayan fucking peak water.
Yeah,
okay.
Precisely. And they talk about how this is smoother because it's got less minerals, and this is more complex because it's got more of the salts in it. Anyway, it's a thing. I play.
That was a proper water connoisseur face.
I play Freak, aka Simon, who's not a water connoisseur or sommelier. He's a psychic who blows things up with his mind and takes a lot of drugs and hates androids for a reason that we finally discovered the reason. Well, Simply didn't because she wasn't here, so. But everyone else did who watched. And yeah, I hope you enjoy watching.
Excellent.
Who else enjoys watching?
and our resident voyeur, apparently, Peachy.
I have no jokes for voyeur.
It's my
I
favorite
once
Star
played a
Trek.
game where the main protagonist watched a cat girl pee for a good 30 minutes after she was screaming at him to leave. That's a good metaphor for my entire channel. I play Dr. Dick Icarus, who is a little bit into science. Just it's a hobby, you know. He'd prefer to be. No, got nothing. I got nothing. Nothing at all. Speaking of not getting any.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thanks, buddy.
I'm sorry.
One of my best friends, everybody. Thank you, Peachy. This is the way you prop up your friends. Good. What a wonderful guy and a human being. Peachy Pixelate, everybody. Let's leave the camera on him for a minute. Let's just leave it there. What a wonderful human being. Look at him. Look at him. Those beautiful blue eyes. He's a sex machine, that guy. Look at him. Oh,
You made
yeah.
one joke. One joke at someone else's expense.
One joke. It was my expense, and now I must break you. Welcome, everybody, to Turn or Warped. Season 2, Episode 14. I am Wax Steven. I am your GM of Doom. I will be dragging these guys kicking and screaming through the adventure today, and I think there will be extra kicking and extra screaming today because of Peachy's just horrible humiliation of me. I must destroy him and everything that he stands for.
Struck a nerve, boys.
Into a fine paste. Into a fine paste. That's the title of today's episode. It'll just be Into a Fine Paste. Yes.
Perfect.
Can we have the thumbnail of it? Scott just doing his water connoisseur face. And just says in Comic
I don't
Sans.
even know what that was. Well, what a connoisseur face.
We
It was
did
quite similar to the Leviosa voice. Bad face.
we did have a clip made though of Simply's fuzzy impersonation that's already in.
That's why clips for my channel. It's never anything that's like, oh, look at Leslie doing something nice or saying something nice. It's always like, rah, 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 like something. Or zooms. Did you guys watch your Twitch year-end clips?
Yeah.
Mine was
I was too
100%
scared.
me playing with the Zoom camera. Every single clip was something involving Zoom.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. No, I think I had some pretty funny ones. There were some pretty good ones. We had a few from different shows. Bobby's Tyke Bison one was pretty great.
That's so one of my favorite clips.
Yeah, Zagaticus legitimately lost his shit. That was probably the most I've ever seen Zagaticus just completely.
I was like, I knew, like, I was like, I can't wait for, because I was talking to Bob about his character, and they were like, oh, make Bison, take Bison, and everything, and when he did the voice, it was just,
Yeah,
it was
he
just perfect.
yeah, Bobby made a character for this season before he kind of went on sabbatical, and he made basically Mike Tyson just and renamed him Tyke Bison, and I addressed his character and he just kind of went yes.
Yeah. It was like the little pause and then the head turn at the same time that got me the yes. It's just so perfect.
It was just the littlest thing, but it was too damn funny. Oh man, it was good. It was good, but no, they were good. They were good clips.
The gorilla fuck got in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made it.
What? Oh, God.
And I made it into I think 2 of Jay's clips too.
Nice.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Nice.
Yeah. So today's show. Why don't we head into the actual role playing part of the show? If you guys have never seen the show before, essentially the characters are crew members aboard the colony ship, the Arcadia, and they have been sort of cast off course, very, very far off course, about 70,000 light years, and into another alternate universe. So kind of far off course. Their goals were originally to research and study a sort of interdimensional plague that was occurring called the Nothing that was eating up parts of the universe into a black void. Not quite like a black hole, just a sort of non-existence that was happening. And it encompassed the Sol system, and the species in the nearby sectors decided to band together and create these large colony ships to move populations to different worlds, hopefully in range to study this phenomenon that was happening and causing all these problems. And in doing so, the jump took them far, far off course, as we said. They've encountered several new alien species, the gorilloids, the Cycrit, and possibly more as we'll continue on through this adventure. The sector of the galaxy that they're in right now, sort of on the opposite side from where they started, is rife with all kinds of problems, and, well, we'll find out what happens as today goes on. During the last episode, we got a little bit of an insight into some of the characters and what they've done, as there's been a sort of month of downtime. Some changes have happened throughout the ship as the new captain has been chosen, a Captain Narat, a female Venetian, taking over. And what many people expected Commander Valest, the acting captain, to take over for the deceased Captain Panel. It did not happen. Captain Narat, voted in by the diplomats aboard the ship, the different ambassadors, has caused quite a commotion, as the scuttlebutt about the ship has been that the ship is possibly going to leave the gorilloids with their secret problem sort of leave them on their own. There's not a lot that one single colony ship can do. And the gorilloids obviously haven't taken too well to this and have become increasingly, I guess, agitated. I don't think hostile is the right word, but they're extremely upset about the decision, and we'll see what happens there. But last episode, we learned a little bit about Simon and his addiction. Things were not going well for Simon. His addiction to a drug modified by Dr. Dick Icarus called Diamond has been intense, but has given Simon some insights that he previously did not have before, allowing him to access sort of a new power, basically a new exploit that we gave Simon when he's on the drug. He's able to alter other people's emotions. And depending on how much of the drug he takes, it can affect people more and even harm them. When we ended last episode, Simon was heavily medicated, and we got a little bit of a sneak peek, a bit of sort of like an astral projection that Simon was going through, where he saw another event taking place. One of the probes that has been sent out by the Arcadia to learn a little bit more about the secret movement patterns and just trying to learn as much as they can about the secret, was intercepted by something else that Simon saw. He saw a different kind of ship covered in strange displays with some kind of odd arena-like ritual that was occurring between what appeared to be a member of the secret species and another species that he had never seen before. A very strong-looking humanoid species with face tentacles and sort of a sloped, flat head, and a very bulky-looking physique, duking it out in some kind of arena. the species with the face tentacles slaughtered the Secret with two sort of half like crescent-shaped knives, and the crowd sort of erupted. Different species, several that you guys have never seen before, sort of cheering in this arena. And again, this is just for Simon. And that's kind of where we ended last session. When we start this session, we have to do some upgrades for Thick. Why don't we start off doing that? So you've gone up from grade 5 to grade 6. Basically, what that means is I've decided that we're going to just kind of equalize everybody's XP. I'm not going to do separate XP for everybody. It's just easier to track, and Roll20 has kind of lost some data and things like that in the past, so we're just going to kind of even it out. So you have, what that means is you have did we decide 70 of 60 XP? Was that it? Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 70, 60.
So you're 70 over 60 XP right now. And to purchase grade 6, you spend 50 of that XP, right? Or was
60.
it 60? 60. Yeah, you spend 60.
Okay. So now it would be 10 out of 60 XP.
Yep, that's what you've got
Cool.
left.
Okay.
And when you do this new career, you basically repeat the processes we did when we first made your character. So if you turn to page 14 of the PDF.
Let me go get the PDF. Sorry.
It's okay. If you need that, I can link it for you again.
That'd be nice, because I've closed Discord completely.
Closed it completely. You see how I'm treated, everybody? It's fine.
Oh, I closed Discord because my computer's like, there's too many things going on.
It's fine. I see how it is. Okay. Let's get you. Okay. I'm going to paste it in Zoom for you.
Cool. I have no idea what career I want. I can't remember some of them, but I still don't.
So I think the most important thing is when you're sort of deciding on a career here, we kind of want it to be linked to what you've been doing in some aspect. Or we can talk about some of the things you've been doing in your month of downtime to sort of cover that. Ultimately, I think just kind of deciding like what you want will help you determine what career you want to take, so we can kind of guide you on that path.
Ooh, okay.
Where do you think your character is lacking? What would you like to improve?
I would like her to be able to pilot more, or be
Okay.
a better pilot. So in case we need to take over the ship at all.
Yeah, I mean, we can straight up take the pilot career if you want to do that. I mean, you definitely did some piloting.
I think that would be good.
So that's a pretty easy choice if you want to do that.
Okay, I already have pilot in there. Do I just add a year onto that, or have to add it on after again?
No. So yeah, we're gonna increase the grades. You see that the column there? You can just increase the grade, and we're gonna we're gonna ignore the years for that because it's only been a month of downtime.
Okay, we didn't put any grades in there previously, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, so it'll just be grade 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah, because you have those are your 5 careers right there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Perfect.
And,
Let me find it in here. I feel like anytime I'm playing with Peachy is left being silent for so much of the episode.
It's by design, don't worry.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, so pilot is your career choice. And if we look at page 14 of the book, we got the character creation walkthrough where we can basically choose. We're going to be going to part 5. We're going to add all listed attribute adjustments for that career. So the pilot career.
It's +1 agi,
Plus-
+1 int.
Plus
Is
1
that-
lodge and +1
Yeah.
luck. Now you
Okay, but I
cannot
have no
have luck. So what I'd recommend is that you substitute your luck for either an Android specific attribute or int, as that is your hook attribute.
Yeah, I'll probably go with int. Just get that up there. Keep going. Cool.
Okay, so that's going to give you an additional 2 int now by picking this. So that puts
Okay.
you up to 10. That's great because that gives you another dice pool.
And int or logic? Because I put 2 in and it just went to 9 on int, but logic went up to 10.
Oh, you were at 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if logic's up to 10, then that puts you at 4 dice.
Cool.
Yeah, the dice changes at 1, 3, 6, and 10.
Okay. Okay. Do I pick any skills or anything?
Yep, you're taking 2
Okay.
skills from the pilot career.
Okay. I already have piloting, but can I level
You can
it up?
level it up 1, yeah.
Okay. And that's the left box.
Yes, that's the level, yes.
Okay. Sorry about this, you guys.
No problem. Nobody's judging you.
Huh. And I want to take gunnery. I was already trying to level that up too, so
Okay,
I would just
cool.
be level 1. I think we just added it, but I didn't actually level it up last time. It was just in there.
So was your piloting at level 1 or was it at level 2?
Piloting was at level 1
Okay.
previously.
So it's
Yeah.
still just 1 die.
Okay. And then gunnery, I'm now level 1 in.
Okay.
Is that 1d6?
Yep. That's a
Okay.
1d6. Yeah, the first level that you add into a skill is the like cheapest, fastest way to get an extra die in your rolls.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And then do I pick any of the whatever they're called?
The exploits. You're gonna get
Exploits.
1 exploit.
Okay.
If you don't like any of those, you can also take a universal exploit, which is right.
yeah.
There's an exploit section.
Okay.
It's immediately after the careers. That's if you don't like any of these.
No, that's fine. I think I'm gonna take evasive flying.
Okay. The ship which you pilot gains a defense bonus equal to your Agi attribute dice pool.
Which is 7, so it should be okay. Pew. Copy booster.
No, your dice pool. It's not a 7. It's
Dice pool.
yeah, it's a
oh,
3.
sorry about that.
It's still good.
It's still good though, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't judge me. I see you judging me, PG. I actually have your window covered. I don't see you judging me at all.
Wow. Wow.
He's too distracting. I have to hide him.
Nice save. I'm impressed.
All right. Is there anything else? Is that it?
I think that's it.
Perfect.
Did your will or endurance change?
Let me go back. My endurance went up.
No.
I think.
No, it didn't. It was
not.
Agi
Okay.
and Lodge.
Oh, Agi. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
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 Yeah, Agi and logic.
Okay. Yeah, so if your endurance doesn't change, then your health pool doesn't change, unfortunately.
That's fine.
Sure it is. It's
It's
just
fine.
fine. A max health of 10 is just perfect.
I've come into this knowing.
10?
Yep. She's
Yeah,
at the minimum.
I'm a little bigger one. I know.
It's fine. It's fine. There's no
it's-
problem. It's good.
I am 79 years old, and I
I've
have
survived
double
this
your
long.
health.
Okay.
Did you go to
survived
prison?
this long.
Yes, she has
Why do you
been
think
to
I have
prison.
such low health? prison wore on me, okay?
Literally. Okay.
Cool.
I'm just changing your stats on
No,
the
you're
display here.
You can't get a good HP when you're, eating on $1 a day. But wait, you don't eat, you're an android. What's your excuse?
I got no excuses.
I didn't have any excuses.
I don't do excuses ever.
Well, maybe it's because I'm only 4 foot tall. Did you consider
I'm
that?
not really smart.
Okay. So, what have you been doing during the downtime? You've had a month of downtime since the last excursion, I guess, that you guys went on. I think since you decided on pilot, have you been kind of trying to ingratiate yourself with the piloting crew? Maybe doing some shuttle runs.
Yeah, I think as soon as there was a new captain elected, I offered to help with navigational effort to ease any sort of transition as a service droid. And then while I was there, was able to actually listen in and be taught further knowledge about piloting, considering The one time I tried to pilot, it was a little rough. That was noted in her logs that we should just keep learning.
I just realized that you have candy canes on your head right now. I did not see them before.
I stuck them on. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I think maybe you might have been doing some shell runs down to the Gorilloid homeworld, maybe? Because there's been staff that have been kind of sent down to go along with the colony that's been placed there. So I think you in particular have kind of been having to deal with some of the backlash of the possibility that the colony might be forced to sort of uproot, literally.
I can only imagine, considering how little the Gorilloids already dislike, or how much they already dislike androids. The conversation about, well, just kick all the androids off. Why can't they take us? They don't need them. Look at her. She's this big. I could squeeze her. One pop. She'd be done. You know.
Pretty
I'm
much.
just taking note.
There's
boyfriend like that once.
there's been a lot of conflicting opinions. You know, I think you've probably seen crew members that are agreeing with the decision and people that are just, very much against it. It's a tough choice. This is a tough situation that everyone's in. The Sicret are obviously a very big problem, and they are quite obviously superior in numbers, without question. And you guys have one ship. It's a big ship. It's very technologically advanced. But you are by yourselves for all intents and purposes. You have defensive capabilities, but a singular ship, no matter how strong, can only do so much against a vastly, vastly overnumbering force. So, there's been a lot of talk, some heated conversations and debates for sure, as you've kind of run people down to the planet. I think that... I think what I'd like for you to do is to give me a perception check. We're just going to do one perception check. I want to see how much information you get. A 46 and a 9.
Not
Ouch.
very much. I really want to learn about flying. I don't care about the social
You've been very
politics
focused. You've been showing people puzzles, and it hasn't. The puzzle.
People are like, we don't care about your puzzles.
Like we got bigger problems. Oh, but I quite like a puzzle. You're pretty much getting. The general consensus has been very even. You've got people that are in support of the decision. You've got people that are very much against it.
Cool.
But you haven't really gotten too much good gossip as you've been very focused on just completing your tasks, and that's kind of who you are. Fair enough. So I think let's continue off where we did last episode. Simon, you just learned. You just had this sort of astral projection occur, unwarranted and frankly unanticipated. It's just one of the many crazy things that's been happening to you since you started doing Diamond. What do you do?
So I think it's probably a little bit of time passed while I kind of got out of that immobile kind of part of being on Diamond, and then kind of pull myself out of it a little bit. I'd probably go back and see Dr. Dick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Dr. Dick, I would like you to make a logic plus perception check.
Logic plus my perception.
Yeah, do you have the perception skill?
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'm thinking then I will allow computers as well for this.
Okay. 27.
Oh, okay. So you've been doing your own research into the way that the sort of the Secret have been sort of adapting to the different tests and things that you've been doing. You've been trying to breed the two specimens that you have, and you've been running kind of different simulations to figure out the best way to do that. And you've determined that the species seem to be very breedable. They just kind of need to have their own space. I mean, that's kind of what the Secrets seem to be. They seem to be very adaptable, and one of the main reasons they do that is because they're incredibly fertile. And breeding.
Pandas really are shit, aren't they?
So, one thing that you've kind of been deciding on is how you want to breed them. And the 4 specimens that are left are the one that has been seemingly interested in heat energy. One that has been seemingly interested in sort of different acidic compounds. One that has been sort of interested in extreme cold. And the last one, I think the last one was, I can't remember. You had 5 total. The other one was electricity based.
Didn't I lose the
electricity base you lost? That's the one that kind of got away.
One that got away.
And I can't remember what the other one was. You'd think I'd have notes for this.
Are you sure I had 5?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had 5.
There only been 4 containments.
Yeah,
but then
didn't he have?
Yeah, we had four of them. I lost the electricity one, but then I gained the chameleon one.
Ah, yes, the chameleon one. Okay, fair enough. So I think you were talking about breeding the chameleon one with a different one. I think that was where you were kind of thinking in the last episode. So what's your?
How is my breeding pen going? Because I need something,
Sure. So I think I think Betty has kind of been roped into trying to make you something. So Betty's basically sitting there. She's got this. There's gaffer tape everywhere. It's all over the floor. There's like 5 expended rolls that are just kind of on the floor. Looking at what she's worked on, this kind of sort of pen area that you've sort of designated as your locker, like her personal locker space that was in your lab. She's been very upset the whole time that she's been working. I don't understand where I'm supposed to put my personal devices and contraptions.
I kept the same name, Breeding Pen, and bought you Want Woman.
Right, but I'm not involved. No. Don't get that look in your eye.
What?
I see that experimentation there behind that look.
I'm just saying, would be interesting to see what a person
it would be real interesting.
I'm sure we could save you or return your ashes.
Now see here, I'll gaffer tape you to the wall.
She would as well. It was just a thought. Just.
Now,
fine.
Let's see what we got here. And I'm going to have her do an engineering plus her logic. Let's see, that's going to be a 5d6. 19, okay. So she's sort of fashioned a she sort of fashioned like this kind of extension onto the locker. She's straight up like taken like an acetylene torch and like cut a section out of the side of the desk area, you know, like just fucking cut it out of the metal, and she's added on like this little sort of contraption, and it has kind of like a some kind of engine underneath that just kind of gently shakes the desk, like, and it's got a coin slot. Right, now all you need to do is you just put your credit chips up to here. Doop. And it properly agitates the breeders. It motivates them.
Why have you put a coin slot on it?
Because that's what you do when you need proper agitation.
I'd like to check where the credits go.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like a coin slot, but it's like a fucking, it's some kind of, credit shit recognition. You probably have to spend a credit like each time you turn it on.
Yeah, I want to know where those credits are going. It's going straight to her account, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. She's even created there's even like a little logo on there. Betty with just like way too much cleavage, and she's like got her hands on her hips.
Like lift up my glasses.
And it's
That's a nipple.
It's like a hologram. So like when you look from like one side to the other, you can see like, and she jiggles a little bit.
Fine. Thank you.
No problem. My work here is done.
Beep. I look under. No, not gonna ask. Not gonna ask.
Yeah, looking under, you can find where Betty stowed some of her. She found a space.
It just turns on all her collection. Right. Well, I mean, they're quite fertile. Probably don't need this, but every little helps. Ow. Sorry, I stabbed myself with my pen. And it's bleeding. Good.
You need some gaffer tape? Here you go. She starts to wrap your finger like you've got this giant thumb that's just covered in gaffer tape.
Right, helpful. Yeah, are you a doctor? I don't think so.
No, but I've been contemplating a new career.
Yes, good.
The organic mechanics back home, they're quite skilled at many things.
This is too creepy. It's too close. Yeah, aren't they the medics, the boring medics?
Right, you say medics, we say mechanics. It
That's
doesn't exactly
ridiculous.
translate very well.
Nothing you say translates very well.
Right, well, have we had enough then? Do you need me for anything else? I could
You could.
make your chair go a bit faster again.
Please do not touch my chair again. I still have the scorch marks on my ankle.
Oh, that was just a first attempt. Like I say, what doesn't work the first time, you just need to try harder the second time.
Why is there a propane tank on it anyway?
Well, that's how you get it to go faster.
It's an electrical chair, woman.
Right, but there's no other way to hit the nitrous. We didn't have any
Say this
nitrous.
one more time.
We didn't have any nitrous tank recipes in the replicator, so I had to improvise.
I didn't ask for nitrous.
Well, nobody asks for nitrous.
There's a good reason why nobody asked for nitrous on their wheelchair, hover chair.
Well, they should. It's quite handy. Like I said, if you push that button right there. Go ahead, give it a push.
No.
Oh, come on then! And she starts to like clamber like up your chair to try and push the button.
Gotta do some sort of strength to try and push her off.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a strength plus if you have any kind of grappling or anything.
Ooh, yeah.
Roll a save against smothering as well.
Oh my god! On a 2d6 from both of us, Dr. Dick has somehow managed with his gimpy little arms to push Betty off.
And tape thumb.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
He just clubbed her with the thumb.
+3.
She's just kind of.
Plus
No, just let me push the button. I
Pushing the button, Betty.
It'll go faster. And this is probably the perfect time for Simon to walk in. The chair is like slowly turning, like in clockwise, just kind of
It's just rotating and on the spot.
Dr. Dick has his arm like locked, like at the elbow, you know, and he's just got Betty's chin pushed away as far as possible.
Is this a bad time? Or...
Is it ever not a bad time?
It's a perfect time. Just push the button on the chair,
Simon, get this
push
filth
the
off
button.
me.
Push the button.
Don't push the button.
Push the
Simon,
button.
don't push the button.
My finger is on the button. Push the button.
Do you actually like walk over and try and push the button?
No, I just kind of stand there and a stipper, kind of wide-eyed. People still super dilated and just watch.
I'm done, Betty. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Don't push. Leave.
Betty says, "Oh, you're no fun." She gets off the chair.
Simon.
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah. I saw something.
Can I tell how fucked up he is right now?
Sure. Give me a. Do you have insight? I think it's gonna be. Intuition, and maybe
something medical?
yeah. Let me take a look at
I've
Doctor.
only really got biology. It's not really medical.
No, I don't think that's gonna work here. I think it's just intuition roll.
4.
That's about right, I think, anyway, for Dr. Icarus. He doesn't really have a ton of insight into people's kind of well-being in general.
You're unsure if I'm super high or just, scarred from what I just witnessed.
I mean, Simon's always a little off, right? It's hard to know exactly where he's at.
What did you see?
Stuff.
Eloquent stuff. Elaborate, perhaps, Simon.
No elephants. There was a probe, and then
That's just what the chair does, Simon. I didn't push the probe button.
Oh,
Just
a
automatically.
probe? What kind of probe?
Space one, and then there was a weird ship, and I saw an alien fighting one of the bugs we fought out there, and I point like out to the science lab corridor.
Ah, vision. What kind of probe? Can you describe it?
Well, I think it was one of our probes. But then the other weird ship thing had screens and cameras and stuff.
So the probes we sent out, one got destroyed. Am I right?
Yep.
The
No, they all got destroyed. Actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they all got destroyed.
Yeah,
Yep.
the alien that was fighting the
One of them was destroyed by some kind of spore.
it killed the secret kind of easy, chopped its head off. Do you still have like a whiteboard in your lab?
Oh yeah, definitely. No. I've got the Perspex clear one.
Oh, the clear one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go up and grab a pen and do
Betty's
a
for
drawing.
sure doodled. I don't know how many dicks on there, but there's a lot of dicks.
Yeah, I rub one off. And then I get the blue marker and I draw basically a stick figure, and then do like little wavy tentacles at the face part. That's the one.
Right.
I
Humanoid.
I thought he looked and I like go to his arms and draw big muscles in.
I think for the first
It's
time,
really strong.
you noticed like one of the tables draped like in tablecloth. Probably starts to move in Dr. Dick's lab. And you first time like you notice there's some like lights that are just underneath. The table like moves over closer to the to those sort of like clear looking the smart board or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just kind of scoots over like
Yeah, I thought since you're a scientist, you might know who that is.
Not by name.
How many aliens do I know like that? Is it just wherever Squigglethrax is?
I think he's the only one that you know aboard the ship. There's other aliens like Squigglethrax aboard the ship, but they are in cryo. And they just kind of all they're just known as the Squigglethrax.
Ah, gotcha.
It's like the Smurfs. Like
Does that race have a humanoid body?
no, it's like whatchamacallit, Octodad.
Octodad, yeah.
Except they're much more maneuverable. A lot less janky.
New alien around the probes.
I'd like to check. Oh, go on.
You haven't seen these before?
No. Have you?
This is the first.
Betty sort of like walks over to the table. Are you making Thick be your table again?
Again.
No. Only an idiot would do that.
How long is Thick
Betty
been
lifts
here?
up the
Gotta be
tablecloth.
honest.
Betty lifts up the tablecloth. Thick is totally underneath the fucking tablecloth.
Oh, hi, Betty.
Kind of forgot
What
you
are
to
you
death.
doing? Why do you continue to do that?
How
I
long is it?
didn't.
How long has it been here?
Roughly 6 hours.
When did you even come in? Did you say hello?
He just came in. Oh my
Thick is practicing hiding under tables again in case interest in secret happens. Literally just drape
Take the
yourself in a
tablecloth off. And Betty like takes the tablecloth off, just knocking all your shit that you had resting on top of Thick, like to the ground.
No, that was her.
Beakers explode.
Thick, you've been down to the planets here, correct?
Thick has taken roughly 14 ships down from the colony to.
Well, I hope you brought them back.
That was the worst joke I've ever made.
Have you seen any of these tentacled Cthulhu men?
Thick is unfamiliar with Cthulhu as a term. Please explain.
Do you know what hentai is?
I do.
Is that where?
Here, let me start to draw some. And Betty takes over the smartboard and starts drawing an obscene.
I look at the drawing. Oh, I was expecting a chicken in a suit. With
Wow.
Oh, there's some that are like that. I think I saw one once. It was weird though, even for me. Oh, but it was good. Oh, the chicken. Oh, so many
Thick
feathers.
has seen no instances of tentacles or Cthulhu creatures, but thank you for teaching Thick a new term.
Right.
How many probes did we send out?
5.
And do I have the information of where they...
You were sent that information, yes. It's the red circles on the map. Hold on. You guys should see that. Those are the locations where the probes were destroyed. The red circles.
I just have... we are that blue circle, right?
Yeah, the token, yeah.
Simon, cast your mind back to your vision. Was there a nebula nearby?
You can definitely see the nebula, sort of from one of the angles, one of the vectors.
Yeah. I saw it.
And out of those two, were any of those hit by the spore?
The data that you got was that the one that's sort of closest to your current location, this one, that is where the one was sort of hit by this kind of giant spore.
What did we have, like a photo or footage before it got destroyed?
Yeah, and that's just kind of the closest thing that you can associate it with, right? Like what you've seen from different spores under the microscope. It just has that sort of porous. It just had that sort of porous-looking texture. But for you, Simon, it's something completely opposite. You saw nothing to do with spores.
Yeah, I turn off the smartboard and all the pictures of weird hentai disappears, and I put like the picture on there.
Does this ring any bells, Simon?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note of the other one then.
And there was secret there, and this strange.
It was on one of the screens.
It was on one of the screens.
Yeah.
What was on one of the screens?
The fight. It was in an arena or a fighting pit or
An arena.
yeah.
It was fighting it for sport?
I think so.
I'm gonna forward a memo to my head of staff, which is Scan, right? He's my
Scan
direct
is
boss.
yes.
Saying possible information on new species in the quadrant. With tentacles, fighting secret for sport? ? And that
I think, Simon, probably one of the most interesting things about the vision that you saw was that you were looking at a ship, and on the outside of the ship, it was just covered in displays right? Like different monitors, and there were different kind of events happening on each one. So the one that you kind of honed in on was this new species. But I would like you to give me a logic check, plus your, because this is going to be based on your memory. Give me a perception.
Logic perception?
Logic and perception skill.
Okay. I'll add a luck die.
Okay.
Because this roll could give us some nice stuff. So it's a 3d6 base and then plus my luck die. 3d6, 10, and my luck die.
Another 4. Okay. So you can only kind of the vision didn't last long, and you didn't seem to have a lot of control over it. You only got kind of a little bit. You remember the nebula because that was very large and visible in the whole process. But the ship you do remember that the ship was covered with these different displays, and there were different things happening on the screens. It wasn't just this kind of arena fighting pit. There were other things that were happening with like different species. You just kind of remember just like little blips, but you were focusing on this one. I think you noticed that some of them weren't fighting. Some of them were like other species, not just this one with this sort of tentacle face. Mm-hmm. Other species that you were unfamiliar with. Some that looked like they were insectoid looking, not like the cicret.
Or
a sort
humanoid.
Yeah. One that kind of looked like a tree almost. One that was kind of it kind of looked like I guess like a crystalline kind of shape. And that's all you really can remember.
Yeah. I closed my eyes for a little bit and I wipe away the hentai drawing. And
I just redrew that.
I start drawing on. This is kind of what the ship looked like, and I do like just like loads of squares for like all the screens and stuff.
It was a very weird shaped ship. It was probably almost like hexagonal, and it had like a I would say probably like it looked like hexagonal pieces sort of tacked onto each other, and each one had like all these like differently angled kind of like panels and screens on it. Very oddly shaped.
Some sort of media broadcaster?
I saw some other glimpses of other aliens. I think there was one and I'll draw out the ones that I saw, which is basically just, a stick figure and then like some defining things. So I'll put some mandibles on the buggy one, and then like some little branches and leaves.
Oh, it's heroin
That's the ice
time.
cream van. Yeah.
Burrito time.
And then the kind of spiky for the crystal-y guy. It was just a glimpse though, so it might not be perfect.
Betty leans in closely. She said, I think I had a boyfriend that looked like that once.
Betty, we've talked about this. Your toys are not boyfriends.
Tomato.
Who on earth says something as stupid as tomato?
Roll for that one there, Whack.
Do you know any of these, Doctor?
I assume I don't.
Would the ship have a log of any sort of potential craps or?
Do you want to check the log? It would definitely have some kind. I mean,
Yeah,
they have like encycladias and shit like that are
Yeah, I just
totally
didn't know
available.
Us being so like way off track.
What was that ancient one from Microsoft that like came with every computer in the 90s?
Fuck.
Oh,
the
God.
Wikipedia killed.
Encarta.
Yay, Carter!
Yeah.
Oh
my
God!
God.
They tried to force that on everybody.
Dude, that was like my internet when I was a kid.
Yeah, and that's totally what the program is called on the ship. It's the Encarta program for sure.
Okay.
Sorry, what was that, Thick?
I will search Encarta on our ship's database for any images referencing close to these figures drawn by Simon, as well as the ship shape.
Bristol fashion.
I'm gonna edit my. So I don't know what. I'm just dad joke central today.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna edit the memo, but I'm not gonna send it yet. I'm gonna say that I personally think it's some sort of media broadcasting ship, and there might be some kind of I don't know, like a group of aliens, a federation or something.
Okay.
Some kind of society, perhaps.
Okay, fair enough. 7H1CC, I would like you to please make a logic plus computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
It has exploit is also for plugging in, correct?
The access ports.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a new maximum on your base roll
Yep,
as well.
66.
Okay.
But the exploit will push you past that anyway.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go 66. Ciao.
A 16 on a 66. Not the best roll, but
I still am like I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time getting the tentacle Cthulhu imagery out of my mind.
oh,
Perhaps you should
I'm just
stand up.
saving that into the log. File it into the private log next to the cat video from like years old.
and Betty like leans in. If you want, I can upload my database.
Don't worry, Betty. I already have access to your database.
You might have to get a memory upgrade, however. It's
There is
quite
a large
extensive.
fascination with mating habits here between humans and different creatures.
Oh, I could tell you all sorts of stories. For instance, Ogrons tend to be a very, very interesting experience. You see, in the mating habits of Ogrons,
Excuse me, I'm still trying to decrypt different toys you have. Definitely interesting puzzles.
Oh, you know what would be good? Is if you applied a different skin to some of your puzzles. A bit more adult. Maybe once the final puzzle's revealed, you could show a little something. You know? A bit of a video then.
I thought she was gonna suggest to like have the like Kama Sutra like DLC to the puzzles to see if you could like
Absolutely.
no. 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 Unfortunately, I am unable to access the data in which I could see species drawn out by Simon.
You can absolutely actually
okay.
it's basically free viewing of the sort of species that are known. There's a sort of the Cicret is probably the only one that's kind of sort of classified. But everything else that the different species are aware of is uploaded to the database. And scrolling through, you don't really find any matches based on the information that Simon has given. From what you knew, only the sort of species that are aboard the ship are the sort of only known species to exist.
Okay. Then I guess I'll report failure. I'm sorry. I couldn't find these species. Oh my god, my dog's freaking out.
Perhaps we've not seen them or come across them just yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in the memo as well and send that off to Scan.
Okay. Send it off to Scan. Why don't we take a break here? Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, everybody, in 5 minutes as we continue on with more of Turn Order Warp to Season 2, episode number 14. into a fine paste. We'll be right back, everybody.